Hey friends, it is Emily. I am so excited to talk to you today. This is a recording for the Inner Alchemy talk for the Poem Club. So this will kind of give you a little bit of an idea. One call a month, we actually just do a poetic self-development call. And this is the call where I really come on live and share about my own spiritual journey and my own awakening and tips and tricks and all the things that have happened to me in order to, become sovereign is the main point today. how I really turned on my sovereignty. So the title of this is going to be 3D to 5D and beyond. And it's about being the bridge. How do you move yourself from the third dimensional reality, the third dimensional matrix, the lack matrix, and walk the bridge, literally become the bridge to, and if I keep looking down over here, I'm looking down at a paper, but come and bridge yourself to be in the 5D or the multi-dimensional world, the heaven on earth matrix, the win-win-win matrix, and the abundance matrix. So it's literally about becoming the bridge to get yourself there. Essentially, it's going to come down to a lot of free will choice. It's your free will choosing that will allow you to cross the bridge. So today I have 5 steps that I really took in my own life to get into, I would say I'm living in a pretty peaceful state. I feel a ton of energy. I feel really connected to source and spirit. I feel like I have definitely started the process of fully awakening my third eye. I feel like my heart is really open. And most of all, I'm really just trusting the universe, spirit, divinity. You can't go outside, honey. They're doing the duck. Sorry, Moochie's wanting to go out. But anyways, I just feel like life is good. And so I will share kind of the journey of this. So the first thing that I want to say, number 1, is that you need to get sovereign to cross the bridge. So for me, this was a huge cutting my shadow contracts. And in the Poem Club, we talk about shadow contracts. And also my beautiful and brilliant friend, Amanda Flaker, her and I are teaming up and doing a big shadow contract workshop the first weekend in December. It's going to be a 2-day workshop, 2 hours a day, so 4 hours total. I think it's going to be $111, but if you buy it on Black Friday, I think you can get it for $77. So literally, this is the thing that changed my life. I would put the value of shadow contract understanding at like something like 4 or 5K. So I think that this is a great deal. Moochie's gonna cry because it's sunny, so she wants to go out on the deck, but there's these deck guys my deck wasn't draining properly, so this has been going on for weeks. It's the slowest deck unfolding I've ever witnessed, but it's been kind of fun because I've been getting to know the guys who are doing the deck, and they're cuties. Okay, so anyways, so cutting your shadow contracts. So shadows are unconscious, unintegrated aspects of your shadow, your dark side. And when you enter a shadow contract with someone, your shadows link up with their shadows. You can't have a shadow contract if both people don't have shadows. So that's a place you can give yourself a little grace, is like, oh, okay, maybe I have all these shadow contracts, but all these other people do too, because if we have shadow contracts, then we both have shadows. So the only way to cut shadow contracts is to take care of yourself first. You have to go totally internal and realize what your own shadows are and do your own shadow integration and look at your own uncomfortabilities. And a lot of these times you're just projecting everything you're judging onto other people. And so this is kind of that shadowy work. So to cross the bridge, you got to look at your shadows. The second thing that I did was I stopped putting everyone on a pedestal above myself And I started including myself and my own desires into the equation. Come here, baby. Come on. Let's snuggle. Come on. You can't go out, boo. Oh my goodness. Maybe I can soothe her by petting her. Okay, so you have to start thinking of your, like, you literally have to claim your value, your beauty, your inherent worthiness, your true beingness. You have to really just, I mean, ultimately you have to find self-love, right? This is the process and journey of like, okay, if you're putting all these people and ideas and all this stuff above you, then really it's just a call to have your own self-love awakened. And then part of sovereignty too is realizing your own power. So you love yourself, you've integrated your darkness, and then you recognize, oh, I'm powerful. Shit, I'm powerful. You have to realize yourself as a creator being or a divine creator. So ultimately, I think the person who came to the planet and demonstrated the most beautiful amount of sovereignty was Jesus himself, because Jesus and his ability to perform miracles meant that he was so sovereign, he was even sovereign from the laws of physics. He literally had full sovereign control. You could say he had a hermetic seal. So part of realizing yourself as a creative being, that really, like, you can make what you can make your reality. Like, you know, law of attraction 101, you create your reality. But really understanding that you create your reality, you're choosing your reality. It's cool and brilliant. Okay. And then part of this is also stepping into presence. So I would say part of getting sovereign is really understanding the magic, like the true magic of presence. So the power of now, being, meditation, living in the present, living in the now. But really we have to learn how to become focused, because so much of our attention is just distracting. And people so often get caught in a cycle of just like self-distraction. It can even be fun, but you're distracting from actually being with yourself and doing all this other stuff I'm talking about, looking at your shadows, giving yourself ultimate compassion, ultimate self-love, recognizing your own power and your own voice as a creator. Okay, so that's first step. I did all that. I got sovereign, cut my shadow contracts, stopped pedestaling people, gave myself self-love, realized I was a powerful creator, really became present. And then I sort of started to recognize, at that point, I had an ego that wanted certain things and I had a soul that wanted certain things. So this is where the divide, I kind of started to separate my ego's desires from my true soul's destiny. And that's a powerful moment in anybody's spiritual process. Okay, so step 2, I believe at that point for me, was I started to take steps to awaken my multidimensional third eye, baby, to open my capacity to be a channel, to have spirit flowing through me, and to really turn on my third eye gifts. So one thing, you know, just practical thing, like a practical action you can take, is you can start taking care of your pineal gland. I really recommend that you get some iodine and take iodine. And I love this brand. I researched it. It's all good. They took iodine out of salt for a reason. So take an iodine supplement because your pineal gland needs it, and melatonin to really start to activate. Oil of oregano is really powerful. It will help sort of cleanse. Stop using fluoride in your toothpaste. And if you drink a ton of tap water, I really recommend finding a filtration system that can remove the fluoride, because the fluoride gets on the pineal gland and calcifies it. Part of the 3D matrix is keeping you in a state of disempowerment by not really recognizing that you have access to the multidimensional world. So take care of your third eye. And then also meditation, of course, but pranayama, do breathing. Definitely start bringing prana into the body. And for me, Kundalini was a big helpful tool. For anybody who is like feeling like you are literally hanging on by a thread, like you're at the crux of your ego disillusionment and you're having a really hard time in life, Guru Jagat on YouTube has a Kundalini meditation called Removing Fear and Sadness. I would recommend anybody to, if you're in a lot of pain, to do that practice. She recommends you do it for 7 days. I had to do it for 14 days before I didn't cry my eyes out through the whole thing. So it's powerful. Okay, then learning how to be coherent. So if you're working with your energy body, right? Now we're working with our energetics. So heart math is a beautiful technology. Coherence, your torus shape or toroidal field, taking care of your energy field, learning how to regulate your heart. I teach heart math. I'm a practitioner of it, but there's lots of ways you can learn about heart math. I would recommend anybody do it because it truly helps. Okay. Awakening your mind to some ideas that maybe you would first reject, like interdimensional beings. Look into cosmic disclosure. Look at the subtlety of the government slowly exposing about the ET life. I like to call it cosmic illumination, but truly this is one of the greatest epiphanies was when I realized, holy shit, there's a lot we don't know and a lot that's been hidden from us. And my biggest guide through this was Elizabeth April, and I would recommend that you watch her channel to really, she is so psychic and has been very psychic since she's a little girl, but she communicates with all the interdimensional species, and it's really interesting. I'll say that. And I love her. Okay. Doing types of plant spirit medicines, if that's your path. I'm not saying that that's everybody's path. Ooh, a beautiful crow just flew by. I love that. It's not everybody's path, but if you're someone who's open to taking like mama ayahuasca or doing psilocybin or doing wachuma grandfather, or, that will actually, ignite your pineal gland, open your third eye, you'll understand what the multidimensional realms are, and you'll have an experience of it so that then you have more of your own mystical personal belief. And that's just the start. Like once you get a glimpse into the multidimensional world, then you have to understand how to access it without the medicine. But that's part of the process. Okay. One thing that I would definitely recommend is learning how to purge. Plant medicines make you purge of energetic densities, things like bufo. If you've seen those people that have the little burns down their arms, you don't have to purge using plant medicine. Again, plant medicine is not for everyone. Plant spirit medicine, that literally you're taking the spirit of a plant. You can once you learn how to purge, purging is a spiritual gift. Lots of shamans have the gift of purging energy for people. I myself have the gift of purging. My beautiful friend Rachel has the gift of purging. Annabelle, shamana woman that we work with, she has the gift of purging. So, learning how to purge is actually pretty cool, even though it's a little gross. And then you'll really start to know that your third eye is turning on and your multidimensional access is turning on when you start to recall your past lives. So if I think of, I don't think I'm fully in an ascended state, none of the sort, but I do feel like I am in the process of ascension. And one of the first things that started happening was I started recalling all my past lives, having true past life recognition, and then addressing my karma. This helped me address my karmic densities and lift those densities. And I believe as you lift your karma, you get more free energy and more access to your energy body, and your kundalini lifts and rises. And your kundalini is, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, where the kundalini rises, like, you know, let the kundalini rise. And then another tip to kind of blast you into multidimensional existence is to, and this is hard for people, but to loosen up on the logical thoughts. It's not A to B and B creates C and C creates D and that leads to E. Sometimes it's like A can quantum leap to E. Sometimes there's a more creative or poetic solution. Obviously, that's like my jam. So, but living in a more creative minded way will help instead of having to be a slave to logical processes and logical reasoning. Because the multidimensional world, it's non-logical, it's non-local. It's not past, present, future. It's past, present, future, all stacked on top of each other and all vibrating at the same time. Okay. Okay, the third thing I really shifted was I started to exit the lack matrix. Amanda Flaker is your woman, okay? She really changed my life. But she teaches the difference between the lack matrix and the abundance matrix. Here's the thing where a lot of people get stuck. If you don't know what the abundance matrix is, how the hell can you walk the bridge to it? I didn't even realize what the lack matrix was because I didn't have a vision for what the abundance matrix was. So the abundance matrix is huge. Understanding the win-win-win. I win, you win, the planet wins. That we don't have to sacrifice. Literally, imagine if you didn't have to sacrifice anything. You didn't have to sacrifice your creative, beautiful essence of life for money. Like just imagine a world where you're enough, there is enough for everybody, and we're all enough, and humanity's enough, and the people in your life are enough, and everybody has access to their own sovereign power as a creator. Bingo. Cool. Okay. So Amanda, go learn about the differences between the lack matrix and the abundance matrix. But essentially in the abundance matrix, the ultimate realization for me personally has been that I am you and you are me. I am you. So you are me. So what do I want for myself? That's what I want for you. And it's kind of just like the golden mean rule, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. As cheesy and cliche as that is, if you would start to live your life in a place of treating people with the respect and kindness and appreciation that you hope to receive, then you will get it in return. We mirror each other. Okay, and then ultimately, if you really want to go into the abundance matrix, you have to stop being selfish. Like there's this ego part of you who thinks it has to prove its worth to get what it needs because there's not enough. That's the lack matrix. Anytime you're proving because you don't think that there's enough, you are in the lack matrix until you can settle into the like peacefulness that there is enough and really understanding that like I receive what I give. And so like you literally then just become a vessel and overflow, and you don't exclude yourself from the equation. It's not like self-sacrifice, over giving. It's none of that. It's like I fill my own cup, and if I'm taking care of my own cup and I'm sovereign, then I overflow and I give and offer this overflow. I give and offer this overflow. I give and offer this overflow. And that is a beautiful state of being. And one last thing for this is you have to, if you want to really get into the abundance matrix, it makes you shed the part of your ego that wants to say, that's right, that's wrong, that's good, that's bad, that's God, that's evil. You literally have to transcend dualities. And my friends, it is not easy. And I'm not saying that if we take a true third dimensional perspective, that there are not atrocities. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we have to take sometimes a higher perspective, because from a soul perspective, we are all one. So sometimes we have to look at things from a state of transcendence. And as soon as you start to recall your past lives and realize that you've had a mix of horrible lives and amazing, beautiful lives, then you realize that what Buddha spoke of, karma, is real. And that's when you start to have compassion for even some of the most horrendous things. Okay. Finally, okay, and this is where I feel like I'm at currently. I feel like I'm entering a state of communion. I'm starting to enter business partnerships where we really commune and see ourselves as each other. It's different from collaborating. It's really different from competing. Competition, collaboration, step bigger, communion. So I'm starting to enter business relationships where we commune. I'm hoping soon to enter a relationship where I get to have sacred union or communion with my partner. And I'm hoping to build calm unity. So communications that create unity, community. This is understanding the power of when I thrive and you thrive and the earth thrives, we all thrive. So this sacred union is about using the forces of polarity to our benefit and spiraling them. So, you know, you have feminine aspects, you have masculine aspects. I always just do feminine's your left side, masculine's your right side. You have these sovereignly, but when two beings, and it doesn't matter what your sex or gender is, it matters the essence or the Shakti or the Shiva energy that you flow. So, but when two beings come into sacred union and they create an energetic feminine and a container masculine, and then they commune in sacred union, I really believe magic can and will happen. And that is intimacy. That is poetics. That is really like, you know, living a life of pleasure, of where you're like literally riding the urge of life itself, riding the impetus for things to bloom, to blossom, to proliferate, to grow. It's like, see, you know, the thing that I keep asking or just telling spirit, I choose with my sovereign free will choice that I want to experience divine love in a partnership, in a human relationship. Imagine how beautiful that would be. So that's what I'm choosing. And then I just release. How does that happen? It'll be fun to find out. Okay. Finally, the last tip I'll give is this tip of free will choice. So understand, one of the biggest moments of epiphany through all of this for me was a realization and understanding that all exists. All possibilities exist. I am choosing what I experience. I just started to realize my perception, my lens was everything. So what I perceive, I receive. What I perceive, I receive. And I choose what I perceive. So start making choices. Make choices that don't deplete you. They don't de-evolve you. They're not death cult choices. They're life cult choices. The word cult, I mean, I guess if we're depolarized, that wouldn't trigger us, but even the word, I felt my body have a little emotional trigger when I said cult. Interesting. Watch your language. I have more on that coming soon about how language is so oppressive. But yeah, that is how I've sort of been walking the bridge to the 5D and beyond, and really choosing to be the shift. And I hope that anybody who watched this found it helpful. And if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe or like. And yeah, I hope wherever you are, you're having a beautiful day. Okay, goodbye, friends.